Welcome once again, my friends, to another edition of Front of House, the greatest stereo music podcast that ever existed. And I thank you for listening. Last week, we wrapped up our 2-week tribute to the late, great Paul Barrere, but we're back in business today. Today, we got music from California native Grover Anderson. You can find more on Grover at groveranderson.com. Grover's going to sit down, play some songs, and tell some stories. He came out for the Folk Alliance Regional West Conference. I hope I'm saying that right. And played some gigs out here in Los Angeles and made some time to stop by and discuss music with yours truly. So I'm bringing it to you. We'll invite Grover and his acoustic guitar up to the stage in just a few minutes. But first, let's shuffle the old iPod. We got an iPod here, iPod Classic, 80 gigabyte, 23,496 songs on it. We're just going to hit the shuffle button and see what happens. We got to keep skipping until we get to a song that we can play.
We're doing that blues thing.
That's the Allman Brothers Band right there. That's Delight. We're not going to do that. Stop wasting my time. That's Spinal Tap. Give me some money. Can't do that. Have you ever seen The Rain? CCR. Blues Brothers doing Peter Gunn. We're not having much luck so far. This is Nina Simone. Let's go ahead and hit the skip. Scorpions! Yeah, I still can't play the Scorpions. Hey, this is what we're going for. This is a chick named Thea Gilmore. I love this lady. The song's called Benzedrine. From the record, Rules for Jokers, Thea Gilmore's front of house.
Meet me by the key light moon in the park. They got their clothes and their diet conscience, but all they are, riot squad, the old modest perfume tea is singing. If you wanna do it right, right, then do it right. And oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling, Benzedrine. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling, Benzedrine. And pockmarked self-indulgence taken to the stage. They're powdering their noses with each critical acclaim. And Sam, I am fighting hard and clicking down the gears, singing, if you wanna do it right, right, then do it right. And oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling, Benzedrine. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling, Benzedrine. Roadside manner in a dumbed-down medicine. You pick me from the gutter and then tell me what a mess I'm in. You pop pick junkies, they global recycling. Give us something stronger till we all join in again. And oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling, Benzedrine. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling, Benzedrine. Cross-culture camcorders, candy for the masses. They're firing every pixel to give boundaries to the classes. And bullseye chasing veins like a bee-stung bear, singing, if you wanna do it right, right, then do it right. Yeah. And oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling, Benzedrine. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling, Benzedrine.
Such a good song. The artist again, Thea Gilmore. She's from across the pond. the record Rules for Jokers. The song called Benzedrine. Are you familiar with what Benzedrine was? Apparently, it was an amphetamine inhaler that artists and mathematicians loved. Little article here from The Atlantic on the history of Benzedrine. For a period of about 20 years, from the 1930s to the 1950s, a good bit of American artistic and scientific energy was generated by this lively amphetamine, which was originally created by Smith, Kline, and French in 1928 as a nasal and bronchial decongestant, but people soon discovered that it had pleasant, useful, and energizing side effects, which led all people to use it to boost their creative energies. Interesting. Oh, I'm scrolling down here in the article and finding out that Bennies, remember in the 1950s when they popped Bennies? Or maybe it was the 60s, 70s as well, you know? Bennies were basically speed. Interesting. Thank you, Thea Gilmore. See, that's why this is the greatest stereo music podcast ever. You learn about Benzedrine and Bennies. All right, my name is Mike Dawson. Grover Anderson is our guest live in the North Hollywood Hideout. Let's go there now and hear some music. Front of house. Welcome back, friends and neighbors, to the greatest music podcast of all time. This is Front of House, and our guest, the return, dare I say, triumphant, of Grover Anderson.
You dare say it, I will accept it without knowing for sure if it's accurate.
Let's hear a song, my brother.
All right. One day the ocean's gonna rise up and drown everybody in New York and California. One day the left and the right are gonna start another civil war. One day the sun's gonna increase in size till it swallows the earth. So what's the good in worrying about her? One day the flowers you bought will decay inside a landfill. The tree you carved your names into will burn down into ash. In time your memories of Yellowstone will be a volcanic crater. So what's the good in worrying about that? If she says she's gone, then she's gone. Good luck trying to change a woman's mind. You may think yourself strong, but what's your heartache to time? What if the tectonic plate you live on becomes an island? Then an electromagnetic pulse puts the planes and ships to ground. Well, you'd waste your life on a raft praying currents took you to her. So what's the good in wasting it now? Says she's gone, then she's gone. Good luck trying to change a woman's mind. You may think yourself strong, yeah, buddy, but what's your heartache to time? One day you're gonna feel the full for this mighty depth of feeling. But even the sharpest pain holds a little bit of worth. In time, every mistake will have only made you better. And there's the good in worrying about her. Yeah, there's the good in worrying about her.
Grover Anderson, our guest, front of house. Welcome back, my man. Grover with the opening track from Grover Anderson is the Frontman. It's called The Good.
Yes, sir.
And one thing I like about that song is you ask the question the whole time, what is the good? What is the good? What is the good? But then you answer that question, and that, my friends, is the mark of a good songwriter.
I was a little nervous about coming around on that back chorus or that at the very end and saying, like, am I going to actually do this? I was like, yeah, no, what's the point of writing a song if I'm not going to answer this question eventually?
Because the one question I had written down, and I go through these, I should start tweeting pictures of the notepads that I destroy while we're doing these shows.
Be lovely.
But the third thing I wrote down is, what is the good?
What is the good?
What is the good? So answer that question anyway. What is the good?
That song started as I was sitting at a gazebo watching a river rise, and I was trying to figure out, like, oh man, am I going to write a song about like all these things in the end of the world? And I realized, like, what is the point in worrying about it? And yet I put a lot of energy into worrying about things. I know a lot of people in my life do, and a lot of people in the world. So, we've evolved to do things. We've evolved to do things for a reason. Why do we do it? Oh yeah, we worry about food so that we stay alive. We worry about money so that we can support our family. Mm-hmm. Why do we worry about love? Well, because it makes us better. A heartache makes us ready for the next one. It
also is reminiscent of the words of the great John Popper. It won't mean a thing in 100 years.
Well, if we could be...
It's kind of the beginning of that song, right? As it feels like, what's the good? Yeah. What's the point? We're good. We're all right.
The point is growth, ideally.
Yeah. Grover Anderson here, new record called The Frontman. It is available now everywhere. The website is groveranderson.com, correct?
.com.
Yeah, one of those guys who got his own name.
Got there early. Well, it helps when you have a name like Grover.
That is true, and we'll probably be coming back to that over the next hour or so. But right now, I want to hear another song.
All right, cool. We got wasps in the woodpile, and I don't like my work. The shower faucet's leaking and the garden's on the dirt. The internet works sometimes and the basement's fit to flood. We got 100 things to tend to, and we'll ignore them all because there's a Jeep and a dirt road and the dogs in the backseat. There's a rock beside a river, sit and dip our feet. If there's a chance, we're gonna take it. If there's trouble, learn to shake it. If there's a backyard guitar, as long as we can see the stars, we're gonna make it. We got wasps in the woodpile, and isn't it a shame that we can't heat our home for comfort without risking stinging pain? And there's a metaphor there that we're too lazy to find, but I got your love around me, oh, and I'm giving you all of mine. There's a Jeep and a dirt road and the dogs in the backseat. There's a rock beside a river to sit and dip our feet. If there's a chance, we're gonna take it. If there's trouble, learn to shake it. If there's a backyard guitar, as long as we can see the stars, we're gonna make it. And one day we'll earn a little money and we're gonna be just fine. We'll host parties with more than records and cheap wine. One day we're gonna turn this house into a hive. But for now, let's take a ride. We got a Jeep and a dirt road and the dogs in the backseat. We got a rock beside a river to sit and dip our feet. If there's a chance, we're gonna take it. If there's trouble, learn to shake it. If there's a backyard guitar, as long as we can see the stars, we're gonna make it. If there's a backyard guitar, as long as we can see the stars, we're gonna make it.
Grover Anderson is front of house. I am assuming that up near Angels Camp in Murphy's, California, the wasps are a big deal.
Oh my God. So I don't like animals that move on a three-dimensional plane. Birds and flying insects are not my bag.
Okay, so you just don't all of them.
Yeah, I can't.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah,
All right,
basically.
I'm with you. All
and
right.
so we have these.
Like chickens are cool.
Chickens are fine.
Right.
Turkeys, well, I know they fly a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Spiders, I'm fine with, but
Yeah.
it's wasps.
Yeah.
And so we live in a place. We live out in the woods, like 7 miles off of the main road,
Mm-hmm.
and these wasps burrow in our firewood, which is really fun when it's wintertime and you bring the wood in for the middle of the night, so you don't have to run out in your skivvies
Holy
to the wood
hell.
pile. And so we'd wake up in the morning and there'd be these red wasps flying around our living room, which was great. And then they stung my wife, and I wrote a song about it.
Oh my God! Yeah, I should say that song is called "Wasps." Again, from Grover Anderson, the frontman.
A lot of people think that's a mosquito when I go, but there's a stinger, and that's very
Yeah,
important
it
distinction
says
there.
It says it stings in there. Yeah, dude. Insects get big up north.
Yeah, well, I was in Maine this summer. They get bigger in Maine than they do in Northern California.
It's the humidity.
It's awful.
Yeah.
I got chased down a path by a moose fly. They chase you. It's pretty fun.
Lobsters are essentially nature, the ocean's insects.
It's true.
And
But they stay on the ocean floor for the most part, as
they
far
do.
as I
They're
know.
not three-dimensional. So
Yeah.
you're not afraid of lobsters.
I can handle lobsters.
Okay, sweet. All right, good. So what brings you to Southern California, my man?
I am in town for the Folk Alliance Regional West Conference, a.k.a. Far West.
That
which-
is a lot of words.
It
Do you
is a
think
lot of
they
words.
came up with Far West before they had the Folk Alliance Regional?
Well, there's like 6 of the Folk Alliance regionals, and some of the other ones got better. Like the Midwest one is just farm, which makes a lot more
Nice,
sense.
that's
Folk
good.
Alliance
I
Regional
like that.
or Midwest, and there's a lot of good ones, and we somehow got Folk Alliance Regional West, which is a lot.
Okay, so now are you? Is this something you have to be a member of, or do you just follow them, or what's going on?
You don't
do
have
you
to
pay to be in the conference, and what's up?
Yeah, you do pay to go to the conference. You don't have to be a member, but I signed up. So Jimbo Scott, my buddy, is always telling me he goes every year to the Folk Alliance International one, and it's in like Kansas City or Montreal or whatever. And he's always telling me that I should go, but it's a massive financial and time commitment to do that one. So I said, all right, why don't I just ease into it by going to the regional one first? Because I was imagining going to the big one. It's in New Orleans this year, and just kind of getting lost in the shuffle.
That is a good place to get lost, though.
Yeah, facts. Yes,
But
it's
no,
true.
I understand if you're going to try this out for the first time. I mean, you don't jump on the fucking shortboard and hit Rincon at high tide.
I am a longboard skateboarder, not a half pipe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what is it? Conferences, gigs, a combination of such?
It's a pretty cool setup. So they have panels during the day. Like I went and watched a panel today on arranging from this guy named Lawrence Juber, who I had never heard of by name, but he was the lead guitarist in Wings.
Okay.
And that dude can rip on guitar. So I just got to spend an hour watching him teach me how to arrange songs, aka me just staring at him with my jaw dropped.
Now, this is one of those things that, I mean, teaching arranging songs, how can you even teach that?
That's kind of why I went. I had the question, and I'll be honest, I just wanted to see him play guitar. They did, it was kind of stuff that hopefully if you're trying to make it as a musician, you have at least an ear for. They're kind of putting words to things that you just kind of have in your head already. Mm-hmm. And honestly, a lot of these things are affirming. Like another thing that we do is we have like a master class, or you could have a mentoring session. And so I went and I sat with this guy who honestly I'd never heard of before, but he's a professional touring musician. He actually does it for a living. So I said, all right, well, I'm going to ask you some questions about wanting to do that. And, at the end, he was like, well, it seems like you're doing everything right. You just got to keep working. And I was like, all right, that's fine. That's going to give me the juice to carry on for another year. Because sometimes when you're working and not getting a lot back, it's like, oh, this is fucking brutal. So having someone who does it for a living say, yeah, you're doing the right things, keep it up, that really helps.
Until you find out that's what he told the guy before you, and the 5 guys after you is going to tell the same.
Yeah,
you got this. You're good.
My time was up, and I bailed, so I didn't have to hear him say the same thing.
Smart.
His eyes got a little big when I told him. I was like, yeah, like I get paid by Spotify. And he was like, well, do you get paid by Spotify? And I was like, well, a little bit. And I told him how much, and he was like, oh, okay, yeah, all right. So that was nice.
How was that? We'll get into that a little bit later. Let's hear some more music from Grover Anderson. This is Front of House, the stereo music podcast that is your favorite.
Philip Marshall Cates was born in Carolina, went to school in England. Philip and Samantha married on his farm before the harvest season. He was scheming. His worshipped father died a great war hero. At night he'd lie in bed and clutch his silver stars and eagles. He was scheming. Back abroad in London, Philip Marshall Cates and met an old explorer who climbed the Ural Mountains, crossed Sahara's dove the ocean, spoke of more, oh, he spoke of more. So one night Philip abandoned poor Samantha, future Smoky Mountain old maid. And as he dark departed, son Lysander joined his father as a stowaway. He spoke of more. But tonight don't cry for Samantha, mother and bride. Here she holds a black and white photograph that fades away. And she still works the farm. She remembers her baby in her arms, the babe that left her barren, and the man who drove her early grave. And they all take a respite in the thought of coming home one day. Philip and Lysander carried south to work for merchants out of Quito. The son translated, father wore a gun and fended off banditos. He grew weak though. Then in 18 years they worked every job from here to Argentina. Every woman a distortion of the last time they'd seen her. He grew weak though. But tonight don't cry for Samantha, mother and bride. Here she holds a black and white photograph that fades away. And she still works the farm. She remembers her baby in her arms, the babe that left her barren, and the man who drove her early grave. And they all take a respite in the thought of coming home one day. Oh, Lysander Cates spent over 30 months in travel north to Raleigh. And gasping when he saw Samantha bedridden, rheumatized and gnarly, he said, I'm sorry, but it's been 7 years since father was gunned down by gauchos out to rob our cocaine. And when I got out of jail, I killed every last one and I started home again. Oh, mother, I'm sorry. Old Samantha Cates was buried in the shadow of the church bell tower. Oh, and when he took his life, Lysander's body landed there amongst her flowers. Oh, no. But tonight, don't cry for Samantha, mother and bride. Yeah, she holds a black and white photograph that's faded away. And she still works the farm, and her baby has outgrown her arms. The fields are never barren, and the men come in for supper after a long, hard day. And they all take respite in the thought at coming home.
The song is called Philip Marshall Cates, and you will find it on Grover Anderson, The Optimist.
Quite
I
an
love that
optimistic
song. Thanks for playing it.
Yeah, my pleasure. I love how much people who listen to this podcast love that song.
real quick,
Yeah.
today, this is weird with time because today, if you're listening to this podcast, today is like 8 weeks ago.
True.
Okay. But today, I was mixing a podcast that you heard 7.5 weeks ago with Brother Sal. And Brother Sal and I got into classical music pretty deep. And we started talking about that. And Brother Sal said that he takes his respite in classical music.
I love it. Great word.
I had to let him know how important that word is, especially
word.
to this podcast. It's because of that song, Philip Marshall Cates. Number 2, fucking Go Gauchos.
Yes, of course.
Totally Go
love
Gauchos.
The Gauchos. Ole.
I think that when you're playing those 7,000-seat venues, when you bust out Philip Marshall Cates and you get to the part about the Gauchos,
Yes.
everyone's going to start throwing tortillas.
They better.
Yeah.
I can think of nothing better than that. Yes.
That would be quite an honor.
I miss Santa Barbara.
Man, what a great song. What a great
I've started joking
song.
based on our conversations about that song after I play it. Now I say that I think it's the only song I know that mentions the words respite, gauchos, cocaine, and gnarly, besides maybe a Sublime song.
Probably.
Yeah, so we're doing all right there.
That's, wow, I'm going to have to check Sublime's
I know,
catalog.
I got to dig a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. That's some strong, witty on-stage banter.
You know,
Your game is
I've been
strong.
really honing it. You know, I'm trying to. I'm getting to a point where everyone's heard my jokes now, and I got to come up with new ones, and it's kind of pissing me off a little bit.
You've been touring quite a bit lately.
I've been a busy man. Yeah, we went. I drove from Ohio to the northernmost town in Maine, or so I claim. At least it was open by paved road this summer, and it was quite a treat. I really got all of the northeastern United States under my belt. Saw a lot of different people. I like Maine. Maine is cool. Maine is also a little weird.
I think that's probably their thing over there.
Yeah, they own it to a strong degree. I didn't get anyone like doing the hardcore like Stephen King movie accent, like, oh yeah, I won't go down that route or anything like that. But I was, you know, like the guy from Pet Sematary.
If that guy has an axe, get away.
Yeah, I would have been running quickly,
Yeah.
but none of that. It was quite disappointing.
Did you eat the lobster?
I did have a little lobster.
Okay.
It was delicious.
That's important. I mean, that's what I know about Maine. I don't know anything else about Maine.
Well, I've read every Stephen King book.
Sure.
So I got to be that guy in Bangor, and I went and visited like the Paul Bunyan statue.
Bangor?
Yeah.
I hardly even know her.
It took me about 30 seconds to learn that it's Bangor when you're in Bangor, not Banger.
boy.
They were like, "Oh, that's cool. Welcome, sir. You're
Yeah.
from California, aren't you?"
Right. Hey, you guys, you know, and don't even get us started on people from Connecticut. Fucking spell your state right.
Ooh, I have to
Jesus.
abstain from this one. That's where my wife is from.
New Jersey. Everybody, look at that. New
Yeah,
Jersey.
they did it
That's how you
right.
spell a state.
Yeah, I got to say, I drove through New Jersey. That state needs a better publicist. It gets a bad rap.
Yeah, actually, no,
pretty nice.
Jersey's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. But yeah, on a recent podcast, somebody said, I think it was Brother Sal again, who said, he says, I take people at face value. Like, if you're from New Jersey and you're an asshole, I say, that's okay, because you're from New Jersey.
I'll allow it.
Apparently, people from Jersey are assholes. I don't know.
It's all right.
Grover Anderson, our guest, front of house. This is your third appearance on the show.
I know. I feel like I'm taking advantage, but I'm also really, really grateful.
No, this is great. Grover is also one of our very first Patreon supporters.
Woohoo!
Bow to you, my brother.
Oh no, you've done a lot for me. I'm happy to return the favor in any way I can.
Thank you. And anyone else out there listening, a performer pays us, and it's not pay for play. It's just
pay for
it's
play.
It's not. So go to patreon.com/front of house and please sign up to support the show, and we'll keep delivering free music to you. What's some of the songs that we sent out that you like so far?
I like the one that Ted Camp.
Ted Russell
Ted
Camp?
Russell Camp. Yeah, that was probably my favorite.
Nice. I
Big
can't
fan.
remember which one we sent out.
I don't remember either, but
All right.
that one got me through. I think driving back from Maine back to Connecticut that day. I
Nice.
listened to that one, and about 3 others. that
Nice.
time.
Let's hear more from Grover Anderson. What do you got, my brother?
I'm going to do the first track on The Optimist. This song has a special place in my heart because it introduced me to my wife. She walked into a place and saw me and thought I was going to be playing Dave Matthews Band covers and wanted to leave, which I understand because I like Dave Matthews when Dave Matthews is playing Dave Matthews and not when anybody else is.
Makes sense.
And so she heard this song and decided to stay, and that's how we met. It was pretty cool. I don't know if it's fireflies or if my eyes are lying to me, but the lights that fill up my sky aren't shining as bright. I landed in Minnesota, it's colder, but I'm warm and I'm free. Until I'm alone on the memories to help me get through the night. And I got what I want, now I just want more. When you leave Indiana, I'm gonna cover some ground, do all that I couldn't get done without you around. I'm gonna cook you a dinner and burn it. I'll say you're perfect when you don't deserve it. I'm gonna love you till I'm sick of you, and hopefully you're gonna be sick of me too. And we've dealt with this distance, lived through dissonance, the wild ups and downs. But I hear your voice through the wire, and my heart floats away. Now we're headed home, and we've gone on too long waiting around. Oh, let's have some of that fun we've been hearing about. Forget all the future and live for today. When you leave Indiana, I'm gonna cover some ground, do all that I couldn't get done without you around. I'll change your flat tires, keep my facial hair grooms. I'll hold you in bed till the late afternoon. I'm gonna love you till I'm sick of you, and hopefully you're gonna be sick of me. We got the rest of our lives to live, the rest of our lives. And try as we might in time, some of the magic might die. But when we get together, I'm gonna cover some ground. Right now we're young and we're dumb, and we'll run this town. I'm gonna cherish each kiss like the first. I'll hold you in ways that they'd frown on in church. Then if I'm lucky to live till I'm 80, I'll still be a fool for my little old lady. I'll tell everyone that I'm sick of you, and hopefully you're gonna be sick of me too. Oh, just sick of me too.
That's awesome stuff, right? That's Grover Anderson. Man, good guy. And very happy to have that dude and his music in my life. You can keep the wasps, though, my brother. All right, my name is Mike Dawson. Almost done with this episode of Front of House, reminding you that every Monday we got a brand new show, and we'll do part 2 with Grover next Monday. Before we get out of here, it's time for a Front of House flashback. I've done about 100 of these front of house stereo music podcasts, so I've got quite an archive of music. Let's flash back to May 17th, 2014, where I first met Jade Hendrix. We sat down, had a brief conversation. She picked up a guitar, and this happened. It's your front of house flashback.
Good morning to you. Good morning to you. I'm so happy to see you here, my dear. The sun may be bright, but you are the light keeping the shadows away all day. Loving you is as natural as breathing. Loving you, pinch me, babe, I must be dreaming. Loving you, it's as easy peasy as believing there's good in this world. We can change the world. So good morning to you. What would you like to do with your days? Spend all your days with me. Good morning, my love. And when push comes to shove, I'll keep you happy and safe always. Oh, loving you is as natural as breathing. Loving you, pinch me, babe, I must be dreaming. Loving you, it's as easy peasy as believing there's good in this world. We can change the world. So good morning. Good morning, yes, to you.
The song called Good Morning, that is Jade Hendricks from all the way back in 2014. Such a great song, such a great voice, such a good kid. I miss you, Jade. My name is Mike Dawson. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Remember that this is a stereo on-demand music podcast, and we appreciate all of your help, whether it's by sharing the show with a friend, turning someone else onto it, breaking into someone's house and subscribing their podcast to it. Anything you can do. You can also go to patreon.com/frontofhouse. And if you give us just $3 a month, we send you free music every single week that you won't get anywhere else. Again, that's at patreon.com/frontofhouse. Part 2 with Grover Anderson coming up in next week. Every Monday is a Music Monday here in Los Angeles, California. Live from the North Hollywood Hideout. Until next Monday, go see a live show and be good to each other, my brothers and sisters. Cheers.